Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2, a best of 5 Terran versus Zerg with 2 players. You should know, and need no introduction, but because I'm here for your likes and subscribes, I will introduce them happily in the bottom right. Of course, the 2016 World Champion, still inspiring Terrans from here to the Bronze League. It is Shopify Rebellion's ByuN. Making micro look like the only way to go. We'll see if it'll take him across the finish line, but no pushover. In the top left, the Zerg player, often forgotten for the flashier plays of Serral, Raynor, Rogue, maybe Dark, but should not be. One of the most solid players in all of StarCraft 2, I know that term is used over and over again, but truly one of the most stable, the most highly evolved. It is Solar, a staple of these ESL Pro Tour Cups, and definitely a bit of a nemesis for ByuN. ByuN really does rely on poking holes in your play, but Solar's carapace, always strong. Without further ado, of course, the obligatory Reaper, the unit nerfed specifically by ByuN twice in the past. First, the grenade doing half as much damage and then taking twice as long to cool down, or maybe one after the other. Still annoying, but not the deadly threat it once might have been, at least most of the time. Instead, something to keep tabs on a Zerg while you get a third command center. Third command center is almost obligatory nowadays. Terran players kind of realizing, maybe, why not? What are they going to do? Attack me? The Reaper, of course, will scout. And any sort of attack from a Zerg player is a huge commitment. Especially if it gets scouted, it's very likely a Terran can get a Banshee, bunkers, anything in between to defend. So 3 command centers for a decade now, the fallback. And in fact, 3 command centers. What really happens is we kind of have a phasing part of the meta, where the map pool or just the meta in general becomes very aggressive for a month or two. What'll happen are players like Raynor and Dark will start smashing Terrans with their roaches, and forcing them to at least start building Banshees, and then maybe realizing that getting away with 3CC is not ideal. But at the same time, many Zerg players are comfortable enough fighting for the mid and late game as opposed to risking it on an all-in, especially on a map like Pride of Eltaris. Utilizing the relatively new multiple high grounds, actually 4 levels of map here. So that's quite a set of hills to climb in order to get damage done. But ByuN, darting in past the Queens with his first Hellions, the most standard, safe macro opener. The Liberator actually may have been spotted by the Overlord, but not even committing to a tech lab on his starport. The Liberator is just a unit you can build without real, as a placeholder almost. A very dangerous, annoying placeholder. Yes. But a placeholder nonetheless. Something to keep the queens tied up at home for spore crawlers, and also get some additional scouting as an air unit that can't be contested by Zerg really early on. ByuN landing his 3rd command center as an orbital before the 5-minute mark. 5-minute mark. Yeah, we got that. The Spore and Liberator will dance. Will they? Won't they? One sieges, the other unburrows, the other unsieges, the other unburrows, and then the queens are like, what are you guys doing? Why? Well, that's why we build more than one. 1-1 on the way for both sides, before I could even point it out for Solar. We got a bit of a macro game on our hands. A good old-fashioned Terran versus Zerg. We poked and prodded in the early game, but the production and the economies are now growing at a dramatic rate as they pass 50 workers, and well, I think we won't be stopping till 70, 80, maybe more for solar. Who's now adding on a fourth hatchery. ByuN, his production up to 5 racks, which is the money number. The octo racks occasionally is the choice, but more factories for Widow Mines is usually a preferable follow-up. We'll have to see what ByuN does after a few tanks, mixing them in there early on. So most players will switch to Widow Mines upon seeing the heavy Ling Bane style, but a few tanks early on can get you more reliable damage. But Widow Mines, unparalleled in their ability to get uncontested damage in the later game. Armory on the way as well, timed out to get that 2-2 started immediately. Of course, Solar, as a Zerg, can get his 2-2 started, but requires a hive for the 3-3. The creep spread, ByuN actually investing scans to keep control of it, but a knitting crew will slap down some creep tumors to replace before it even recedes. The skirmishes, just the foreplay here, but now we have the main event. Will ByuN's Marines and tanks be able to dive through, as every upgrade seems to be finishing, or can Solar hold the line? He's got Baneling speed on the way. That's a key one. Baneling speed also gives Banelings plus 5 HP. So very helpful for closing the distance. A few Marines left behind. Tanks, Hellions, Armory is done if he wants to switch them into Hellbats as well for tanking. Probably their best use, at least of Hellbats. ByuN at 140 supply, Solar right there with him. Meanwhile, huge Zergling counterattack. ByuN starting to wall off his third. He's not done yet, still contesting. The Zergling count suspiciously low. Will ByuN realize in time. He's building a 4th command center. Banelings being built on the left flank. The Zerglings are going to dart in. At this stage of the game, it's not so much you don't necessarily know what your opponent is doing. It's about being able to react to it in a timely manner. A sensor tower is on the way. ByuN smells danger. He doesn't yet see it. But he himself is the danger as he dives in. He has enough Marines to fill up 2 medevacs, 1 left behind. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. To which, why? Anyways, there will be more wreckage at the 3rd. Banelings rolling through. Siege tank gets a good target on the Banes, but there's just not enough. ByuN forced to fall back. Oh, no, let us in! Oh, no! Somehow ByuN doesn't lose all his SCVs, but he shut the door to keep the Zerglings out. But SCVs suffer from a lot of the same terrestrially bound weaknesses. Oh, 13 SCVs going down. Probably a little more damage than needed to be dealt. ByuN will clean it up. He's got a 4th command center. The command center was finished before the Lings and Banes ran in. The tank still forgotten and now lost. So that small economic blip barely noticed as ByuN. Well, he's behind in income. His Solar's managed 5 bases behind this. ByuN hasn't even gotten that close to pressuring it. We'll see on the left flank. There's already a hive on the way. A lurker den in production. Lings and Banes closing the distance. The Hellbats doing what they do best, which is dying. But trading as best they can. Behind the line, Solar not able to see through here. The watchtower controlled by siege tanks. Very reminiscent of Wings of Liberty with that move. And on this map. Of course, there's plenty of open space around it if Solar has the numbers, which he just does not. He's been reliant on this very larva-heavy Ling Bane style, but he's made good use of it. There's not a bunker. He sees only 4 Marines, not enough to contest. The rest will come back. ByuN dragging his army back again, ceding map control to Solar, though keeping a lot of pressure. As you can see, the creep spread is stuck on the high ground. A few more Zerglings. This small contest, a tank holding the line with the sensor tower. He's able to spot this a little before. And everybody, oh, what time is it, Jimmy? Oh, it's drop o'clock? Yeah. Oh, very clever. Okay, well, anyways, for ByuN, it's almost always drop o'clock. As he'll send out a double drop to the right flank. Moving with his army to the left. 2-2 done for both sides. 3-3 started for ByuN. Hive tech upgrades for Solar. Stimming in and diving through the creep, cutting through the front line, and closing the distance on the hatchery, but doesn't have enough to press through, at least not quite yet. 33 banelings on the field, distributed between 93 to 83 workers. Massive economies. It doesn't get higher economy than this. They still have mining in their mains, and they're on 3, 4, 5 more bases. Oh, almost 4,000 minerals and 1,000 plus gas a minute. They can replace these armies, but the hatcheries and command centers are a little harder. Lings and Banes closing the distance. ByuN's drop to the right flank. Spotted. The Baneling's gonna roll in. ByuN realizes he's actually chasing the Banelings. Meanwhile, the Viper's trying to get something done. Blinding Cloud potentially used here. Abduct on the tank. Yanks it up to the high ground. Murders it with the Hydras and Queens there. But the Lings and Banes closing the distance now. Tanks blind. And without that ability to see the blinding clouds means they get ripped to shreds. The drop, some of the Marines left behind this time as ByuN taxed. Unable to keep up. Solar holding the line. Flexible, malleable. But he bounces back with a vengeance. And even though ByuN has done a great job of keeping the creep at bay, Solar's economy has still been humming along. And he now has a Nidus network on the way, and he has 3 lurkers and counting. Adaptive talent, seismic spines, lurker range already done. Where is the Ghost Academy? Cloak begins. It's already finished. 2 more command centers. The drops, he's actually microing Marines out of individual medevacs to try to minimize Baneling damage. ByuN is maxed out. He's got to find a way to trade some supply out. Yes, don't tell them that. Trade some supply to get the Ghost started. In fact, he's sworn off the Widow Mine so far this game. And we're past the point Widow Mines would find much effectiveness, as lurkers do shred them from afar, which is the only safe way. Full energy Vipers involved. Medevac's nearly out of energy. Blinding Cloud, both tanks just bio units behind, trickling through the Lings and Banes, back up to the high ground. The tanks are eliminated, and the Medevacs have to pick up and get out. Meanwhile, there's a Nidus in the back of the main. Are there even enough units? The stim is there. You can't snipe the Nidus, the only weakness of the Ghost. But he's not going to be able to get through. The Nidus won't even complete. And now the risk is known. A Nidus at the 3rd, but a tank at the 3rd command center enough. But this is chump change right now for Solar. He can send out a Nidus network on cooldown and still have plenty of money left over. This isn't some sort of 2 or 3 base cheese. He's got half the map. He's got 92 drones. He's got 200 supply and maxed out upgrades. The risk reward is barely calculable here. 1 Nidus and ByuN is in a world of hurt. But at the same time, if the drops get through, ByuN looking the other way. The pickup should be there. Most of it gets out. Nidus does finish. Lurkers coming from a few feet away. There's still a couple tanks at the 3rd and plenty of orbitals for scan, but it looks like ByuN looking to fight the lurkers head-on with tanks and ghosts. Meanwhile, double expanding is ByuN. He actually tried to go out to the left side. Oh, this SCV transfer. Intercepted by the spines and eviscerated. Honestly, at this point, ByuN doesn't really need that many SCVs. He's at 80, which is more than enough to keep up. Especially, oh, ByuN. Oh, God. Ah! The scan. He's looking, no, it's just an overseer in surveillance mode, but the army comes back. ByuN looking the other way, and Solar smashes through the front. SCVs, planetary down, parasitic bomb on the medevacs, and the frontline bio is obliterated. But meanwhile, ByuN strikes back. A drop does not find much, and suddenly ByuN is down 50 supply. He has the money to replenish it for now. Oh, it could be more if these medevacs are not... Oh, no, 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 no! No! Oh, those Marines are not happy about that one. Yeah, ByuN... Oh, this is out of ByuN's vision. Like, he hasn't been able to see this the whole time. The snipes! But, uh-oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The ghosts don't really damage the Nidus. Yo! Oh, okay, he's not going to pop the lurkers out, but still. ByuN has so many command centers. He's just not able to replenish his army. He lost so much, and Solar is carrying the momentum across the map. The creep is continually spreading forward. His income is now over 2,500 higher between minerals and gas, and either one is devastating to ByuN. ByuN with still... Oh, he's down to 49 SCVs. I was saying like 80. Okay, that's a little much. 70 is still pretty high at this stage. 50 is low. Okay, where's the sweet spot? 60, 65 or so, depending on how many bases you have. 15 creep tumors at a time, dozens of lings and banes. Solar has grabbed control of this game. ByuN looked like he might be able to break through with the pressure, but Solar instead struck back. Blinding Cloud, not risking the Vipers, but instead using the Blinding Cloud from as far out. You could go with the Abduct, but the Blinding Cloud also can help screw up the bio units. 15 more SCVs. ByuN back under 50. Hydras, Lings, and Banes on the left flank. Orbitals, Mules will drop. Some supplemental income. Try to make up for it. He still has Ghost. ByuN, possibly the best Ghost player in the world. Magos. Just sniping. He's sniping Banelings. He's sniping Lings. He's sniping Hydras. But can he snipe any bases? In fact, has Solar lost a single hatchery? This feels like you should get an achievement or something for not losing a single hatch in 15 minutes to ByuN. He's been working with, well, he had for a time maxed out Marine Marauder Medevac, but still was unable to get any of that economy. But hold your metaphorical, mechanical, and literal horses. ByuN has ghosts. He didn't quite have that count earlier on when the first Nidus pulled him out of position, but he's now at 17 ghosts. And we've seen so many times Terran players up against the wall, but the ghost firing squad fighting back. Lurkers slicing through the left flank and the front. Solar hitting essentially every mining base at once. The third has a few mineral patches left, but it's nearing mining out. If you don't have any mineral patches, mules can't help you. I know, more wisdom. The wisdom will continue throughout the cast, alright? Another Nidus. Solar, the Nidus crawl, continues forward. Abduct the tank to the low ground. Sliced up. Ghost Cloak. Overseer's Reveal. More Banelings rolling through, and suddenly Solar doesn't quite have the critical mass. You gotta be careful about getting in the... Oh, ByuN shot his own tank! A click in the wrong way, but the snipes, as soon as you turn tail, or whatever it is that Hydras have, the ghosts line up the shots and bring them down. Solar now aggressively expanding, taking 2 of the middle bases. Usually you'd be allotted 1 in a half-map scenario, but Solar is taking more than his fair share. Lurkers still creating significant annoyance. The ghosts have to roam around and find the snipes. Lings and Banes. 725 Zerglings, 125 Banes, and that doesn't count the Banes that actually attacked. Only Banes that were targeted to 0 HP and die, which is the ideal case for a Baneling. But Banelings that fulfill their life's purpose of exploding, yeah, they don't count on the units lost, fun fact. +3 mech weapons, as well as +3 ranged attack for the Lurkers and Hydras. Another big strike coming in. The tanks a little out in the open. A Viper. The singular Vipers. I've really got to compliment Solar's Viper usage. He hasn't been building like 5-6 Vipers to get EMP'd, but he has been using those Blinding Clouds and Abducts. Well, a lot of Cloak used, but there's no energy left for Snipe here. And without energy for Snipe, the Lurkers start to slice through the army. The Medevac's not enough to heal. ByuN losing so much to 1 Lurker. The production is under attack, and Solar, the inevitable tide. The inexorable Zerg. throughout the map. ByuN is on the ropes right now. How many ghosts? What is the ghost count after all this? 8, 9 ghosts. He's lost 16 ghosts. 800... 1,000... Nearly 1,000 Zerglings lost. It's only been 20 minutes. I'm not a mathematician, alright? But that is approximately a whole lot of Zerglings per minute. ZPM. Or ZLPM. You know what? Just say Zerglings lost per minute. We're not like... What is there? A character limit on the cast? I would have passed it a long time ago. Acronyms make you sound smart, though. You know? Oh, that's not even an acronym. Meanwhile, Zerglings. A few more will trade their lives for a tank. Another worthy one. A few more close the distance and rip 2. How many tanks? 28 tanks. Oh my god. The ghost still intact. ByuN! GG and Solar overwhelms in game 1. Pride of Eltaris. A huge map, a lot of bases, and a lot of space to work. And Solar, he loses 12,000 more minerals, 2,000 more gas. He loses 920 Zerglings, and he wins the match. But we're just getting started. Get back into the spawning pool. Make sure you have your metabolics boosted, because we're speeding into game 2. Something probably a little more suited to Terran. Curious Minds. A smaller map. A few less bases. A lot more opportunity for tank pushes on the 3rd. Jimmy, get to the game! There's no time to waste. People are gonna click... We're back. That was kind of a masterclass from It really felt like what we usually see those games look like. Especially with like Maru. Is the Zerg holds, gets a pretty decent position with lurkers, and then the ghosts and liberators. I guess that was a missing piece as well. The ghosts and liberators just start to grind it back, where every attack seems to cost the Zerg more and more, and the cost effectiveness of the Terran army just becomes too much. But Solar, the Nidus was the special sauce, all right? Not a sauce I'd eat, but if you're a Zerg, maybe what does creep taste like? I'm imagining like raspberry jam, so that's not very original, but like mixed with dirt, and that's it. You know, that wouldn't be so bad. Mostly dirt, but if there's dirt, it tastes like dirt then. So, not that I would know. But I've heard. Leave your comments below. More philosophical and cooking related questions. Cooking with Creep. Welcome to Brenda's Kitchen. That was a classic game. ByuN, once again, ByuN very, I don't want to say headstrong, but stylistic. He decided this game we're going for the tanks against the mass Lingbane. Tanks are good if they go Hydra. Tanks can be good against Lingbane, but the problem is Widow Mines just have such a higher return ratio on the investment. If they just go for the mass Lingbane, they will overwhelm, very likely, your Marine tank, especially on such a large map where you have more time to produce units. Oh my god, going deep. Trying to prove he's still got it. And Clem isn't the only one who can get Reaper kills, but comes out with the Zergling number 1 of however many. Hellions in production. Yeah. I don't think that was really kind of a showcase of the map as well. I think on a map that large, Pride of Eltaris. You gotta go with something like Widow Mine Drops. You have to... Oh, what are you... That grenade was because he could, not necessarily because he should. Going with the tanks is playing into the Zerg's many hands, or whatever, appendages, by giving them extra time to prepare for an attack. Another Liberator. This time, no third command center before Starport. So not the full greed opener, but instead a little bit of extra pressure with the 1-1-1. Already starting his stim pack. As Stim Marines, the bread and buttered biscuit of Terran. Overlord, gonna be floating in. Seeing, well, it doesn't see the little icon, that's for us, so we know what these much better players are doing, but sees the upgrading tech lab, sees no tech lab on the starport, sees no third command center, which is not necessarily a tell. But the Overlord getting its job done. That Liberator slipping along so we can barely even see it on the minimap. Gonna dive in. Siege up the mineral line. Oh, kind of a nasty positioning. Oh no, Brenda! Ah, how many times? Ah, those Liberators. If you even put a toe into the danger circle of freedom, well, you're going to get a healthy and overwhelming dose of high-velocity liberation. So, you must be... Solar didn't build a spore in the main, which... Well, the survive... So, yes, ByuN is liberating the city below, as well as making it so his Liberator doesn't... One, if he uses Select Army Hotkey, not that he would. One, that it doesn't move. And two, that if he happens to get hit by a queen, it doesn't get, like, pushed into queen range. So, just something to keep it standing still. Sometimes you just need to make sure it stays put. Oh, so we're doing this. Oh, no. Oh, my. This doesn't seem fair. Life ain't fair, Susan. Grenade manages to hit all 4 queens. Oh. What does ByuN have back here? Intentional. I can only imagine intentionally hiding. Is he suspecting Overlord? Doesn't want to give away the tanks. So just a straight up, essentially 2-base tank push. He started this production and then added the 3rd on. So it is a more 2-base pressure. Which means he wants to do damage. 1, deny a 4th. That is necessary. That must be done. And 2, he ideally attacks into the 3rd. Especially this high ground area. You can put the tanks on the ledges. It's a little bit reminiscent of a Light Shade. The not too long ago map, which was very favored for tank pushes. How are you still alive? Oh my god. The Liberator, a continued massive long-range thorn in Solar side. The Hellions retaking map control. The tanks pressuring the 3rd Solar with a nice amount of drones, but this tank push, yeah, ByuN really investing in the tanks. You love to see it. And the tank push was hidden by the Hellions and just the vision blockers here. The tank on the left flank, the Marines not really in position to cover for them. One's going to go down. The Queens can eat the hits. They can take a pounding. And they can dish it out right back. Especially if they have enough energy. Armory is done. Hellbats are created. A little bit of... Oh my god, the Liberator! Okay. No. Oh, wow. Okay, it went down. With the dying breath of that last Queen. Oh, Baneling speed is done, though. And with Baneling speed, that extra HP, and of course, closing the distance. The Zergling count is too damn high. The Hellbat's trying to help. Marines dropping out, but the Zergling and Baneling count is overwhelming, and I can't help but think that ByuN just took a little too long to get the damage done. He's doing these, like, long-range tank pushes. Oh, well, Solar takes what he can get. Not the most efficient. But ByuN, it's a bit of a dated style, I will say. Like early mid-game tank pushes, if they go roaches, or if they get particularly greedy, but Solar toes the line. Solar knows how many queens, how many lings. He knows when to stop and start building drones. It's an art form. I know it sounds very simple, but it's the hardest part. Zerg is unique in how their economy and production works. They have to choose. Is this beautiful, cute, expendable larva going to be a Zergling? Is it going to be an overlord? Is it going to be a drone? And making that decision almost instinctually is what the best of the best do. And this game, even though ByuN kind of hit a pressure, Solar didn't go to like 90 drones. He didn't go to like 6 bases just because ByuN wasn't attacking him. He made sure he had the Ling and Bane count. And now he has map control. And he can leverage that. ByuN now has admitted that Widow Mines are possibly a decent unit against Massling Bane. And he's adding on Liberators as well, giving himself a lot more opportunities. Whoa, oh god. Thankfully, those Lings and Banes were on a move command, but unfortunately, 2-2 is already complete. Really boxing himself into a corner. The Zerglings. Ooh. I think I've seen some cinematics like that. Wow, that's a lot of Lings and Banes, actually. Solar's just here. He's rolling over everything. The tanks are evaporated. The Marines obliterated. The Widow Mines not enough in number to stop the rolling tide of the Lings and Banes. And Solar closing the distance. Reinforcements on the way. The Liberators don't fire fast enough. The only thing they're lacking is splash damage. Another wave is coming in. The SCVs went back to work. They said it was safe, but now they're dead. 20 SCVs down. 2-2 is finishing. And Solar, oh my, burning through. This was clinical. This was actually beautiful. I need to watch this game with a bit more of a critical eye. This is a great learning game for Zerg players, I will say. Yeah. Ooh, that was a rough one for ByuN. The tank pushes are not landing, unfortunately. That was some incredible Zerg out of Solar. Just straight up solid. Ugh. He has not lost a hatchery against ByuN in this series. I will say Solar is one of the few Zerg players who historically has a winning record against ByuN. I didn't expect this winning. Of course, it's a back and forth. ByuN still has a shot. 3 in a row, though. 3 in a row. Well, Jimmy, can we see if there are SCVs on the map? No, I'm not judging. I'm just making predictions. Alright. Anyways, game 3. I hope you've enjoyed my commentary. Make sure to check out well, all of it. All of the games. Wow, that was my best advertisement yet. What you should do, if you like this video, make sure to check out more videos like this one. I have like 2,000-ish, so should keep you busy for a while. In your defense, though, only like 400 or 500 of them are casting. So, though, since nobody's proxying, I'll take this time. I mean, statistically, if you made it this far, aka past the first game of this match, you're probably a little more dedicated. You're enjoying. So, I have been practicing more, and I'm looking forward to doing the low APM challenge 2022, where I can convince you guys I am some fraction as good as both the players on the screen right now, despite literally being so far below their MMR. I'm closer to a platinum leaguer than them. But I've been enjoying again. I was a little, I guess, demotivated from playing, even though I still really do enjoy casting. I have a ton of fun with it. I think I'm in a higher percentile of people who talk about StarCraft than play it. So, I mean, that's typical for Americans in SC2, but here we are. But yeah, so looking forward to that as well. But also, of course, there's literally no way. I think there are literally too many professional games of SC2 that in order to cover every match that was technically a professional match, there aren't enough hours in the day. Because think about it, like each ESL, like one of these cups has literally dozens of matches. Best of 3s, best of 5s. There are 3 of these a week. There's dozens of other smaller tournaments. There's major tournaments every week or two. Wardy, Team Liquid, TSL, DreamHack. There's so much, and it's always been... Did you know StarCraft 2 has had more tournaments in esports by a huge margin than any other esport? I think this partially comes down to, I mean, there aren't too many other 1v1 games. You know how hard it is to organize 3 or 5 nerds together, depending on what game you're talking about, and get them all in the same place at the same time, doing the same thing, and making sure everybody knows how to load the map or check in or all the... It's not... This is why I have a lot of respect for Wardy, by the way. Shout out to Wardy. I'm looking forward to the Team Liquid map contest tournament soon as well. But Wardy does so much work, and he works, like... Without Wardy, we'd be kind of limited to just the ESL and stuff. But Wardy really sets the tone. One, in giving people an example to follow for tournaments. And also, of course, hosting them and casting them and keeping up on them himself. So, shout out to Wardy. This isn't even from Wardy's tournament. I just wanted to shout out to Wardy. So, cool. But watch my videos of his tournaments, though. Just watch his stream. And then tell me which games to cast. Because otherwise we'll be stuck watching boring games like Game 3 of Solar versus ByuN, with ByuN going for 3 command centers. And Cloak, man, are you really trying to hide the Banshee against Overlord speed? By the way, I want to point this out. Solar's just won 2 games. Pretty convincingly, right? Game 3, first time he goes Overlord speed. I love it. It's one of the simplest things. But Game 3, you've just won 2 comfortable macro games. The likelihood of cheese skyrockets, alright? So Solar, acknowledging that, with the least investment possible, guarantees he will get the scout with Overlord speed. God, he's so solid. I was thinking, because I think of... template players. I guess we're just doing a meta discussion as we watch ByuN micro this Banshee incredibly well. Oh my god, he's so good at it. Though I'm not entirely convinced Cloak Banshee is worth the investment, it still is fun to watch a great Banshee micro. Template players, like players you can copy. You can watch them play and be like, that's how you're supposed to play. That's realistic for me. Because, you know, I'll give you an example of who's not a template player. Maru, Raynor, Zest. Like, you try to copy them, you'll crash and burn. Possibly simultaneously. It's not gonna happen. Like, you don't have the 600 APM of Raynor. You don't have the Jedi mind tricks of Zest. You don't have the multitasking 5 different parts of the screen at the same time of Maru. But Solar for Zerg, and Serral to an extent. You've got Showtime for Protoss, and players like Cure for Terran. TY was another great example of a template player. One that, or Hero Marine is another great one. Just most of the German players are really good at count. Lambo literally makes guides, so I don't. This is just Shoutout Central here in Game 3, but honestly, it looks like we're going to end up in a very similar spot, which is 3 bases locked down. +1 on the way. But this time, for you ByuN fans, I think there's a few out there. This time, 1-1 is quicker for ByuN. He has a distinct advantage. But Solar. Are we doing Bane drops against Terran? We've seen a few Zergs work this in lately. This is another... Oh, it's a Zergling drop. But if you're going to go Overlord speed early, like, the Dropper Lords they cost as much as a Baneling. Literally just one Baneling. 25, easy peasy. And Overlord speed plus Zergling drops. It's not even a cheese, it's just a good pressure. It's something... It's even cheaper than a medevac, really. Especially if you keep using it. The Banshee! Oh my god! He's on hold position in the perfect spot, gets more drones, pulls the queens back and ByuN. Finally might get a hatchery. Yes, he forces a cancel, which is something. It's something. But where's the armory? Oh no. ByuN has been nailing it this game, but the armory. He doesn't have an armory. He can't start 2-2. He's giving up, essentially, his upgrade advantage. He's adding on 3 more Rex, an Octo-Rex play. Is he even going to bother with 2-2? Is this just, essentially, he's up 15 supply. He can press the issue. Solar's a long way from his 2-2 upgrades. He sees it. All right. Honestly, I feel like when he did the Zergling drop earlier, he kind of gave away his opportunity to do a bunch of damage with a Baneling drop. He kind of showed his hand. Usually it's the first Overlord drop that does the most damage, and then you kind of just have to rely on them looking the other way, which is not something that's incredibly reliable with someone like ByuN. Now, the armory is on the way, so I think that's just a straight-up mistake out of the Korean Terran. Is that a Reaper? Is that the Reaper from earlier? I don't... Or did he accidentally make one? Either way, doesn't really matter. Knowing ByuN, he'll probably micro it. But the 4th is on the way. A huge amount of Zerglings looking for an opportunity. Solar, you can't keep the door... This isn't Canada. I don't... Oh no, the Widow Mine does not find a connection. Oh, it's a total disaster for ByuN. The Widow Mine holding the door open for the Zerglings to come in and wreak absolute havoc on ByuN's base. 30 SCVs down. The wall ripped apart at the front. The SCV's not repairing. He actually split the damage between the supply depots and the reactor. The attack at the front is being whittled down, though still intact. ByuN's supply is still alright. He started 2-2, but +2/+2 is finishing up here for Solar, and that means his Lings and Banelings and even the Hydras can be even more cost-effective. And another thing to note is a lot more Hydras before Hive. They're not just for the Lurker Den, especially since the Lurker Den just now started for Solar. So far, ByuN, well, the creep spread has been shut down. That's a whole lot of Lings and Banes, and without 2-2, ByuN definitely needs to be careful on creep. That Widow Mine finds a huge connection. Takes the brunt out of the Ling Bane force, but on creep, the Marines are incredibly vulnerable. ByuN looking to close the distance. Solar, once again, pushed back to his hatchery. But no further. ByuN can't make the difference. It seems the further ByuN gets out on the map is the more space for Solar to slip through counterattacks or surround the army. But, well, overall, though, ByuN got off to such a good start, and he's controlled the map so well, he's still in a great position, considering Lurkers are a pretty long way off, upgraded Lurkers, importantly. Since Lurkers are a pretty long way off, oh, there was a Bane drop, got 5 SCVs, the hatchery, he doesn't target it. He splits his damage a bit. Widowmine doesn't go off. Banelings still looking for opportunities, but a good trade for ByuN. The drop on the left flank. Zerglings stuck behind one Marine. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, no. Oh, God. Well, it's ByuN. So, this is either a huge move or a massive gamble. Well, both are true. This could end in total disaster or potentially win the game. Because there's the spawning pool. There's the lurker den upgrading range as we speak. One of these didn't unload. The parasitic bomb. Solar's Viper control. I mean, casting parasitic bomb isn't like insane control. But my point is, he doesn't overdo it. A lot of players make like 5 Vipers and say, now I have my Vipers. No, he's got 1 or 2. It's a good support unit. It's like having a Raven. It's just, it's very hard to use effectively without just kind of losing it to Marines or Widowmine or whatever. But keeping it alive and keeping it in the fight is something Solar's been doing so well, but the fight is coming to him. Adrenal glands and lurker range 6 seconds out. I don't even think they're lurkers, but blinding cloud means the tanks are no longer a factor. Drop in the back of the net. The evolution chamber is vulnerable. +3 carapace. A valuable upgrade potentially going to be denied. Indeed it is.
Denied.
+3 is on the way for ByuN. Medivacs diving back into the main. If he could snipe the lurker den before any of the upgrades, honestly, at any point, sniping the lurker den is good. But as soon as possible is better. Solar still sitting on 94 drones. He's barely taken any worker hits here. But that means ByuN nearly maxed out, has 30 more army supply, the hatchery being targeted, the transfuses are not enough, and ByuN picks up, and he gets out. He's back at the natural. Down goes an extractor gas at a premium right now for Solar. Parasitic bomb potentially on the medevacs will finish them off. These units are down for the count, but ByuN hits again. He's at the 4th, takes it out. There is no 4th base for Solar now. The top left side, ByuN striking back and tearing apart Solar across the map. He's not able to keep up. The Widowmines are recharging. ByuN backed into the main. A couple medevacs without even enough units to heal. He's got to make sure to keep as many of those as possible alive. 3-3 isn't even done yet. ByuN hasn't even reached his final form. Does he have a Ghost Academy? Yes, he does. Does he have any ghosts? Yes, he does. He has the ability to potentially deal with the counterattack. A Nidus Worm detected. I didn't notice he was getting Nidus. Does ByuN notice he's getting Nidus? Let's go to the ByuN action cam here. ByuN dives to the corner. He doesn't see it. Oh, no. Oh, he hears the scream. He hears the... Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, it's just one lurker? Oh, it's more than one lurker. Solar. Now this... ByuN just decides he's going forward. He can't recall these units. The lurkers are on his production, but look at the strength of the Terran army. Only 2 lurkers. Not enough here. He's got to be careful of closing the distance too quickly. More of the lurkers are in the main, on the production line. ByuN. He's sidestepping the lurkers left at home. He scans again. He gets 2. He gets 3 for 3. And then it's just drones and hydras and lings. Oh my. But it's not enough. The medevacs are nearly out of energy from healing between the stims and the lurkers. But the tech trees of both sides are being absolutely dismantled. Comes back through the Nidus network before the Nidus network itself is disconnected. And those 3 lurkers that popped out are enough for Solar to hold the line. 120 supply for either side. 3 lurkers back at home. The Liberator will siege. The scans are enough. The Liberator should be able to chip through. A ghost eviscerated. Where are the... ByuN. Oh, God. Well, a drop at the top left. Solar still has 65 drones. It's just the Marauders. I feel like these medevacs need to go home. The Nidus. Oh my God, are they... Did he disconnect the whole Nidus? Oh my... I don't know what was in there. It was at least a couple lurkers. Oh my God. The lurkers are gone now. The lurkers have disappeared into another dimension. If you disconnect the entire Nidus network, the data is lost. All right, it's gone. When you rebuild a Nidus, they don't come back. They're just gone. So whatever was in there, and I think it was just a couple lurkers, but still, anything at this stage, with the army supplies so even, will It. Burn. Oh no. The damage still being dealt from the attacks, despite the fact the attacks stopped a while ago. The Liberator will eventually deal with this. I don't think he rebuilt the Nidus, as no longer are we at a Nidus-based economy. What a game! 14 drones. What do we got? Widow Mine drops. 14 drones. Another hit. The worker counts ByuN actually stabilizing. He has how many? 4 orbitals. He has a command center and a plant. He has 6 command center. The Baneling Nest has to be rebuilt. That's a changeling. Still a Widow Mine drop. Solar's economy finally, for the first time in this series, has been brought low. And ByuN is stabilizing. You gotta be careful with those mines. The Widow Mine's putting the work in. Another Widow Mine drop to the top left. Oh, looking for the hits. Doesn't get too much there. The lurker count. The lurker done was never taken out. That was just the changeling in the main. Ooh, some bruised medevacs. You know you're allowed to heal medevacs, but as a matter of principle. And also because, fun fact, for those who are Terran, did you know you can just right-click your SCVs on something that needs repair? And they'll repair it. You don't need to actually press the repair button. Except for medevacs, in which case you have to press the repair button. Otherwise, they'll just load into the medevac. Which, I think, is a slight amount of the reason why you see medevacs very rarely repaired. That extra 1 APM does make that difference. Oh, the Viper. That always seems to be here. It doesn't have enough... Does it have enough? No, it needs 125. Oh, it's like... Ah! Guys, stay. 1 sec. 1 moment. All right. 11 drones down. I believe it was another Widow Mine drop. Solar somehow bouncing. Oh, well, this was a... Okay, so here we are. Down goes a medevac. The stairway to hell. No, this isn't great. ByuN's starting to get less and less value from his Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs, but the Widow Mines continue to grow. In value, not in size. The Ghost, I don't know. Wow. Oh my god. I walked through the valley of the shadow of death. And then I shoot him in the face. Oh my god. Oh. Wow, okay, that happened. Where does this leave us? ByuN making 2 more command centers. We're still going here. This game, not as brutal as Game 1 in terms of just sheer unit losses, but definitely more hectic. Just units everywhere. And those units mostly Widow Mines, which gets 10 more drones. Oh my god, what a nasty shot. Get over here and look at my army! Ah, yeah, that looks bad. I'm pretty sure Solar now realizing, wait a second, I don't have any Hydras. I made them all in the lurkers. The hatchery itself is in trouble. The Widow Mine being dragged into the army, but the hatch taken out. Look at them. All right. A Nidus network, like some intense deja vu here, as we see nearly the same production tab we saw like 8 minutes ago. +3 Carapace, hatcheries, and Nidus network. This is what Solar was trying to build before the great base trade battle where neither player was successfully able to land a... Is he on hold position? Wait. Yeah, there's no way they wouldn't have attacked. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, the game could just end. This is like the most... He's really gambling on this. Those lurkers are on hold fire. They would definitely have attacked the ghosts. We can't quite see it with the observer interface, but... Okay. Oh, I was really hoping it would be a thing. But instead, he's just going to go for the damage. He takes him off hold fire. He attacks into the third. He's going for it. Both sides maxed out, but it took a lot longer this time. Widowmine finds a huge shot. Oh my god. I inhaled so sharply I almost choked. And ByuN following suit. Oh no. The ghosts all dead before the fight could even really start. He's down to 3. Not nearly enough to contest this. Widowmine, actually Bio dropping into the top left. There's almost no units there to deal with it. The tanks are holding the line. The Widowmine's trying to help. The lurkers are grinding through. A couple will get taken out in the process, but down goes the orbital. A single lurker targeted down. The Bio units, though, still insanely cost-effective against anything but those lurkers. There's lurkers everywhere. Oh my god. He's got 10 of them left. +3 Carapace finally finishes. A long time coming. ByuN still has a whole lot of mining here. But Solar has been slowly but surely grinding up his economy. He just seems to find the money for drones. Whereas ByuN is unable to keep the SCV count at... Oh, Wings and Banes. Closing the distance. EMP hits the Viper. Widowmines. Huge chunks of the Ling Bane taken out. And with it, the army supplies draw a little bit closer to even. Bottom right. Lings slaughter a planetary. ByuN, I don't know how it really shook out like this, but... Here we are. ByuN on the ropes, unable to find minerals. Hey, he actually has 1,000 minerals in the bank. What happened? His production has been taken out. He has as many he has more command centers than he has barracks. He has 4 orbitals, 2 planetaries. He has 6 barracks. Okay, he has exactly the same amount of command centers as barracks. That might change here momentarily. Some more drones taken out. Banelings closing the distance. The snipes are good, but honestly, Lurker versus Ghost kind of comes down to numbers. Because the Lurkers can interrupt the Ghost snipe, but if you have enough Ghosts, you can just spread around and make sure you guarantee it. Wow. An epic battle, but a slow slide into defeat for ByuN. Just unable to bounce back from all the damage. That Nidus again. A beautiful series from Solar, I gotta say. Even that last game, ByuN made a few mistakes, and Solar exploited it. I love the swarm attrition out of Solar. ByuN still showing his multitasking and his very headstrong style, but not enough overall to break through this time. And Solar in the least explanatory 3-0 I may have ever seen. No, that's okay. That's a little dramatic, but 3-0 doesn't really show the struggles of that series. But it was a great one. I hope you enjoyed my commentary, and I hope you do in the future. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Check out the casting playlist, all the playlists. Check out these videos and those. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.